Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. Today I am so excited to be talking to you about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. This will be a spoiler-free review, so do not worry if you've not seen the film. But if you haven't, you should probably go do that, because it's great. The Last Jedi continues on from the events of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, where the Resistance and the First Order are in the middle of a war. This is Star Wars, of course there has to be some sort of war in the stars. Only makes sense. So we have our old favourites and our new favourites working together. We have General Leia Organa, played by the late Carrie Fisher, trying to captain a ship of the Resistance, trying to get away from the First Order, including General Hux and her son Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. Along with General Leia Organa, we obviously have the best fighter pilot in the whole of the galaxy, Poe Dameron, and then we have Finn, played by Boyega, who teams up with a construction worker called Rose to try and help out General Leia Organa and Poe Dameron, and they go on all sorts of adventures, but that is all I will tell you. And as we last saw Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, she was on the island in search of Luke Skywalker, hoping to get his help to join the Resistance and fight against the First Order. That is all I'm going to say plot-wise. I'm going to give you no more details because I will get called out for spoilers. It's happened before. So what I've really loved about The Last Jedi is that the director Rian Johnson, who also wrote the film, took a lot of bold moves in this film. It feels very different from what we have seen in any Star Wars film before. Of course, this film is like the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy because it's the middle film. People are going to make comparisons, but with The Force Awakens, it was very much like A New Hope, maybe too similar, whereas The Last Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, although they have similarities, The Last Jedi is a very, very different film. I think The Last Jedi really branches out into the galaxy and shows us different places. It really develops itself as a singular film, and for the last film in the trilogy, Episode 9. We see a lot more conflict in the galaxy rather than just the rebels versus the First Order. There is a lot more going on, which I feel is definitely going to branch out in Episode 9. I found that really interesting and I like the direction it took. Although those particular scenes felt kind of out of place compared to the rest of the film, it did take a really big step forward in terms of world-building and developing the Star Wars universe. I really love the scenes between Luke Skywalker and Rey. She's really trying to figure out her place within the Force. She's trying to figure out the lightness in her and the darkness in her, and I really love that this film definitely focuses on the balance of the Force rather than just the light and the dark. Daisy Ridley stunned me in The Force Awakens as this new character Rey, who I absolutely fell in love with, could really connect to, and she just does a fantastic job again in The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill obviously returns as Luke Skywalker, and he's a very different Luke Skywalker than what we have seen before. If you've seen the trailers, I guess this could be a minor spoiler if you haven't seen the trailers, he is very much against the Jedi coming back because he has seen what he has done to his nephew Ben Solo. Adam Driver returns as the villainous Kylo Ren, who is determined to destroy anything to do with the Jedi and to do with the Force. Kylo Ren's character arc in this film is a lot more interesting than it was in The Force Awakens, although there were some definite issues with the way his character was left in the end of the film. The same could definitely be said for Rey, but that is spoiler territory, so we're gonna stay away from that. Every single time the late Carrie Fisher showed up on screen as General Leia Organa, my heart broke a little bit. I miss her so much. Princess Leia means so much to me. I mean, she's on my shirt, for God's sake. She's just as strong and powerful as she's always been in these films. In the original trilogy, she was such a badass, and she continues to be such a badass. Her character is just super, super consistent, and I absolutely love it. I just really love how she was sort of a mentor to Poe, played by Oscar Isaac. I just love the relationship those two have. I absolutely love what they did with his character in this film. He had so much more of an arc than he did in the first film, and I just loved him overall. I will never stop loving Poe Dameron. Now we're on to kind of the more disappointing parts when it comes to the characters. I think Captain Phasma was just as disappointing in this film as she was in The Force Awakens. There was a very cool scene between her and Finn in this film, which I think was very important to show for Captain Phasma's character, but again, she's just a little bit disappointing. And since he was cast early on in the process, everyone was mind-boggled at what the character of Benicio del Toro would be in this film, and I'm sorry to say, I was quite disappointed with his role in this film as well. I won't tell you what character he plays because I actually can't remember what his name is, which isn't a good thing. His character sort of just seemed like filler within the film, and it kind of stretched out and lengthened the pace within the second act. Before I move on from the characters, I just want to mention that Laura Dern as Vice Admiral Holdo, I loved her so much. She has such a great character arc in this film. She's great, I love her. All the females in this film are badass, and I love them. Oh my god, Rose. Oh my god, I forgot to mention Rose. Kelly Marie Tran as Rose. Such a great character. Just, she gave me so much hope throughout this whole film. Okay, I could stand here and talk about how much I love Poe Dameron and Finn and Rey and Rose all day, but I think you'd get a bit bored. Let's move on to the action in Star Wars The Last Jedi. As I already said, Rian Johnson took some bold decisions with this film. That doesn't exclude the action sequences. The first action sequence, it was just so raw and so intense and just the perfect opening to this new, bold film. Each action set piece that was set in space was just beautifully choreographed, so action-packed and just so hard-hitting. I love it when they can make me feel some feels when all they're doing is blowing stuff up. And let me tell you something about the lightsaber battles. Oh my word. There is a scene in this film left me speechless. The way they choreograph it and the way they film it stylistically is just beautiful. Mix the action with beautiful cinematography and the gorgeous score that is just so intense and so fitting to this new, bold Star Wars film. It just sets up perfectly. I didn't expect so much comedy to be in this film, especially since it's written by Rian Johnson, and his previous film that I've seen, Looper, is not the most comedic thing. But I got a lot of laughs out of The Last Jedi. I just think it's a lot of fun. I respect Rian Johnson 100%. He did a lot of justice to the characters, old and new. You can disagree with me if you want to, but I believe that he did those characters justice. However, there are definitely some flaws in The Last Jedi. First act pacing, amazing. Middle act, got a bit slow in places. Third act, amazing pace. It was just patchy and kind of dragged out in the middle. It felt like a little bit of filler. The world building side was great, it just wasn't as great as the other scenes that it was lined up against. I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson's film Looper. I think it's super clever, but also doesn't overclutter and overcomplicate itself, whereas The Last Jedi, there's a lot going on. It seems too overcomplicated, although it is complex. Sometimes it just doesn't work when it's mixed all together. There are a few scenes where you kind of question Rian Johnson's writing decisions, whether or not the scene should be there, whether or not it adds to the plot. Those are mainly to do with the scenes in the middle of the film. They keep the film going and keep the character development and the world building going. It just feels like they could have fastened the pace a little bit when it came to the middle just to get up to this epic finale, building more tension. That's my critical view of the film. There were definitely some issues. I'm not saying it's Shawshank Redemption, even though I don't think Shawshank Redemption's perfect either. From a fan's perspective, a fan of Star Wars and a fan of movies, I had a ton of fun here. I really love what they did with the character arcs. Definitely did a great job setting up episode 9. I can't wait for it. I have so many theories and so many questions. Passing all of the issues I had with it, I'd definitely go see it again. I'm going to buy it on DVD. I'm going to watch it so many more times in the future. It's a Star Wars film, but it's bold, it's different, and I really, really loved it. I've seen a lot of people say that it's the worst Star Wars film, but just go back and watch like Phantom Menace again, maybe Attack of the Clones. Not good. If you have seen Star Wars The Last Jedi, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Try and be spoiler free, but if you are going to talk about spoilers, make a fair warning. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more videos very, very soon. All my social media links, including my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Letterboxd, will be down below in the description if you're going to come follow me. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye!